How old are you?
18.
What do you think about our synopsis in general, and could there be any improvements to it?
I like it, but you can make it more understanding, so like when you first read it you understand it more clearly.
In a teaser trailer, what 5 elements do you usually look for?
You look for the main characters, the music, what's playing through, the different types of shots, the killer, bloody
What are like your general likes and dislikes when it comes to horror trailers?
I like when it's catchy and like tells you briefly what it's about, but I don't like it when you have to watch it more than once because you don't understand it first.
What do you think about like the last horror trailer you've seen? And like, what was it?
I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was Cabin in the Woods.
What features did you find were quite interesting about it?
The way that they edited it, so like the shots was quick and snappy, and like the music was put in pace with it.
And our last question is, what is your favourite subgenre in horror?
I don't really have a specific one because I like all horrors.
What do you think about our synopsis?
Quite like it. The idea of it's kind of like bringing in the idea of global warming and like an environmental motive killer. So I feel I like that, and then basing it on like murders that have past happened. I like that. So it's not about murders that have previously just happened right now. So it's quite interesting to see that aspect put into it, where they're kind of looking back on themselves and then looking to the future. Yeah.
Do you think there's any like improvements in it?
Improvements? Perhaps in some of the shots don't show the actual person dead.
Yeah.
Leave the audience in suspense so they don't actually know whether Beth is dead or not. So perhaps in a shot just see the person's foot, and that's the shot you see, or you don't quite see who it is.
What 5 elements do you expect in like a horror teaser trailer?
I'd say quite during the running shots, fast-paced tempo, so like music, so very fast-paced. Obviously screams, close-up shots. I don't know if I said no. I need 2 more. Do
Yeah. You don't have to.
That's enough then.
In like horror trailers, what do you like and dislike about them?
I like getting left in suspense. It makes me want to watch the trailer more. Not watch the trailer, but watch the film more. Makes me want to like know what's going to happen. Right? If I'm told what everything's going to happen in the trailer, then there's no point in me watching the film.
Was there any like trailer that you found really effective that was sort of like to like a horror genre?
I'd say a really effective horror trailer would probably be Cabin in the Woods, and the 2009 Friday the 13th. Quite interesting trailers. They don't show too much of what's going to happen, but you kind of get the storyline and the outline of what's going to happen, but you don't actually see the death, so you don't see who is dead. So you're kind of left in suspense.
And then finally, what is your particular favourite subgenre of like horror?
My favourite subgenre of horror is unnatural and a bit of massacre.
Thank you.
How old are you?
18.
What do you think of the synopsis? Can you suggest any improvements?
I think it's a really good synopsis. It's got quite a lot of features of the genre, so you can tell it's going to be the horror film. I think it could use maybe something to do more with maybe trying to distance itself a bit more from some of the conventions, like try and use them in more interesting ways, like possible trying to not, if for example, try and go away from like the typical female, maybe have one of the men be like your kind of scary, screamy person in that situation, try and play it up that way.
Alright. What 5 elements do you expect in a horror film teaser trailer?
I expect usually to not see the killer, rather. More to see flashes of what they'd like, kind of like motifs and weaponry. Usually there's not going to be any blood, so you might like have things suggesting violence, so if it's like a shadow effect. Definitely the stars, so whoever's going to be leading the cast. Typically, whatever's going to make it separate from other horror films, it's like setting, something like that, is that for.
Yeah.
And I suppose, release date and all those important information.
What's your general likes and dislikes about horror trailers?
Usually I like to try and avoid anything that's going over the top with the violence, but anything that's kind of playing it, I'm trying to use that horror that's mainly trying to like create like a sense of like eeriness or like kind of like a surreality, so you're like kind of feeling out of place by watching it.
What trailer did you think was effective, if you've watched any lately?
The last trailers I've watched I was going back to watching old trailers of American Psycho. That was a really good kind of like the horror film in a more of a normal setting. So trying to like kind of putting it against normality and surreality and with insanity and psychopathy.
Right. What's your favourite subgenre in horror?
Psychological.
Psychological. All right. Thank you.